Tar Heels, after letting one slip, hold on tight this time. Glendale, Arizona. In Monday night's sluggish slog of a national title game, it was trench warfare, with whistles instead of landmines. North Carolina faced the frustrating situation of clearly outplaying its opponent, Gonzaga, without the scoreboard reflecting that fact. The Tar Heels, 33-7, relinquished a lead less than 5 minutes into the first half and did not get it back until the second had begun. They promptly lost the lead again, going more than 4 minutes without scoring. A team that entered the game making more than 36% of its three-pointers sank them at less than half that rate. The team's heart and soul, Kennedy Meeks, amassed 4 fouls. A 4-point lead with more than 6 minutes left was their biggest to that point, and not a minute later, Gonzaga, 37-2, was back up by 1. Many teams might have crumbled. But, like Russian novels, the N.C.A.A. tournament rewards suffering. And suffering, this team knew. 10 UNC players, including the starting 5 and the leaders in minutes played, were on last year's team, which lost the title game to Villanova on a body blow buzzer beater by Chris Jenkins, the adoptive brother of UNC's own Nate Britt. Jenkins sat directly behind the UNC bench like some metaphysical reminder of how painful it can be to get so close to glory and falter. Up 62-60 with a little more than 3 minutes left, UNC huddled during a media timeout. Steve Robinson, who has been an assistant to Tar Heels coach Roy Williams both at Kansas and at UNC, brought up last year's finale with the players. Continue reading the main story. Related coverage. Roy Williams? He doesn't have an accent. You have an accent. March 31, 2017. A ladder, sharp scissors and a basketball net. What could go wrong? March 29, 2017. N.C.A.A. Championship, how North Carolina won its 6th title April 3, 2017. North Carolina 71, Gonzaga 65. North Carolina stops Gonzaga, turning heartbreak into joy April 4, 2017. On college basketball. A regular analytical column looking at the game and business of college basketball. Gonzaga earns chance to prove it belongs among basketball's elite. April 2. Final Four illustrates N.C.A.A. tournament's constant unpredictability. March 27. In a twist, it's Sanaya Chong powering U.C.A.A. women's basketball. March 26. In imperfect tournament, drama, or lack of it, depends on your lens. March 19. U.C.A.A. women enter tourney with 107 consecutive wins, but more 17. See more. Advertisement. Continue reading the main story. Remember that moment, and how we felt last year, Robinson said, according to point guard Joel Berry too. And we don't want that again. So we've just got to give it our all. And that's the moment where we locked in, Berry added, supplying his own narration. And we went out there and just gave it our all, literally. After Gonzaga went ahead 65-63 with less than 2 minutes left, the Bulldogs, the little program that truly could, a small school in eastern Washington state that built itself into a national power and was validated with its first appearance in the Final Four, never scored again. UNC finished the game on an 8-0 run to make the final score 71-65 and bring the program's 6th national title back to Chapel Hill. Previous defeat leading to present triumph was a common theme throughout this tournament. Here was Zach Showalter, the Wisconsin redshirt senior, for instance. Last month in Buffalo, in the tournament's second round, the 8th-seeded Badgers, led by a core of seniors who remembered barely losing the 2014 national semifinal to Kentucky and then barely losing the 2015 national title game to Duke, put the kibosh on top overall seed Villanova's season with a 65-62 upset. In March, there aren't really going to be blowouts to win games, Showalter said. It's going to be who makes the plays in the last 5-10 minutes of games. He added, I don't know how to explain it. We're just calm in those situations. A week later, there was Tyler Dorsey, the Oregon sophomore. In the regional finals last year, the Ducks, elated after beating Duke, the defending champion at the time, were knocked off by the underdog Oklahoma. Dorsey and his team did not forget, and in this year's regional final, in the hostile territory of Kansas City, Mo, they upset top-seeded Kansas. That experience definitely helps, that we got back to this point, Dorsey said. We knew what we needed to do. And here was Theo Pinson, the UNC junior who has made himself MVP, most valuable to the press, and foreshadowed Monday the day before, describing how the Tar Heels respond to on-court adversity. We've been here before, Pinson said. We say that a lot during games, we've been through these situations before. Sports. Get the big sports news, highlights and analysis from Times journalists, delivered to your inbox every week. Enter your email address. Sign up. Receive occasional updates and special offers for the New York Times' products and services. See sample privacy policy. In college basketball, as a Nobel Prize-winning poet once almost put it, there is no path to success like failure, even if failure itself is no success at all. If that holds any sway, it may constitute commentary on the team-building strategy of loading up on one-and-dones, players bound for the NBA after their freshman seasons. Such teams have the advantage of the most purely talented players but the drawback of a lack of experience, in a sport where winning in March might require losing in past Marches. There have now been 11 seasons of what might be termed the one-and-done era, since the NBA began to require its draftees to be at least 1 year removed from high school, and it is generally agreed that just 2 teams, 2012 Kentucky and 2015 Duke, won national titles primarily because of such players. Monday's contenders combined for, at most, one one-and-done player, Gonzaga big man Zach Collins, whose 5 fouls limited him to just 14 minutes. Williams has been ineffective at recruiting such players, partly because a protracted N.C.A.A. investigation into fake classes disproportionately taken by major sport athletes has left a cloud over the program. I had one dad say, "We're just going to wait until the spring, and it will be over with by then, and then we'll know exactly what it was," Williams said Sunday. That was 2 years ago. But a perhaps unforeseen advantage of this recruiting obstacle is that UNC has been able to stay old, in the words of Seth Greenberg, the former Virginia Tech coach who is now an ESPN commentator. I've always been a believer, Greenberg continued, going on to refer to 2 veterans on otherwise young teams, that one and done can win with that guy who can basically coach your freshman and locker room. Darius Miller in 2012, Quinn Cook in 2015. It's hard for those young players to understand how it works, he added. There were several huge plays that confirmed the victory for the Tar Heels, but perhaps the most impressive came with 16 seconds left and a 3-point lead. Meeks, a senior, carrying 4 fouls and 260 pounds, rose up and blocked an attempted floater by Nigel Williams-Goss, Gonzaga's leading scorer this season. The block fell to Barry, a junior, who chucked it up the court to Justin Jackson, a junior, who stuffed the ball home to create a 5-point lead with 12 seconds left. After the game, N.C.A.A. Meeks, the mother of Kennedy Meeks, said she never doubted her son or his team. "My question is, did we know we were going to win it this year?" she said. "Yes. I prayed on it, and I called it last year. I knew our boys wanted it more than anything." Kennedy Meeks confirmed that account in a joyous post-game locker room. "I think it definitely gave us a little edge," he said of last year's loss. "Definitely helped us out." He added, "This team, we worked so hard trying not to be remembered as the team last year. And I don't think we will now."